Hi, my name is Lindsay, and I am here with Ali, Alex, and Leen, and we're going to be doing a presentation on a marketing analysis of Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi. In this presentation, we will be going over a brief introduction, explaining the 4 Ps of marketing, what a value proposition is, looking at a SWOT and pestle summary, Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi's market segmentation, as well as their marketing strategies, looking at product strategy, brand management, distribution, pricing, and promotion strategy. We will conclude with a recommendation and how to implement that and why they should. Following with that will be a conclusion. Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi is a Calgary-owned and been operating in Calgary for over a decade, selling a vast range of items with the main product being records, specifically used or collector records. Looking at their environmental factors, Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi has one factor that stands out, and this is the debate on the eco-friendliness of vinyl records. Records are made from PVC, which is a long-lasting material, making vinyls essentially live on forever. With younger generations aiming to be greener, vinyl producers are using discarded records to create a new one. Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi showcases service differentiation competitive advantage. The company prides itself on their customer service, and this aspect is proven through Google reviews, with one stating that Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi has a huge selection of new and used albums, which showcases how Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi values customer satisfaction and the experiences that customers have within their establishment. This presentation is looking specifically at the used records sold within Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi. We'll be looking at the 4 Ps of marketing, which are product, which is defined by the tangible goods that offer customer values, as well as price, which is what a buyer must give up to obtain the product, the place, which is outlined as how a producer or company makes products available, as well as promotion, which is the act of introducing, facilitating, or sustaining a conversation and community between companies and their customers. Moving on to value proposition.
So for the value proposition, this includes clarity of offer, which means that the product is stated simply and specifically, target audience relevance, which is identifying your customers' needs and understanding them and how you plan on meeting them, benefits and values, which is basically what's your customer gaining from your product, and finally differentiation, which is how is your product better than your competitors. Now moving on to Turn It Up Records value proposition. The product that they're offering is vinyl records. Their customer relevance, they know that their customers value a space to really feel safe to hang out. And as the manager stated, if you just want to come and look at the walls, come and have a good time. And they also know that a lot of their customers come for their collector's items, so they tend to specialize in that. Benefits and values, well, their record store is located on 17th Avenue. It's one of the only record stores in the Northwest, so it's very convenient for everybody around that area. And also just the experience of like physically holding your favorite album and being able to like analyze art in real life. It's very rewarding, and you get a cleaner, fuller sound as opposed to like streaming platforms. And the way that they are different from their competitors is through their price. Their price ranges from $5.95 all the way to $100, which is significantly lower than their competitors. And they also offer collector's items that are difficult to find anywhere else. And now moving on to the SWOT analysis.
All right, so conducting their SWOT analysis, we found that their main strengths included their location, as Leen said, as well as their customer service and their affordability overall. Some opportunities for growth would be partnerships with local businesses elsewhere, just in order to build community. And then another opportunity would be the push for physical media that is ongoing throughout the younger generations. One of their biggest weaknesses is their lack of a website for other consumers to find them online. And then 2 main threats to their business would be the recession that we are currently going through, as well as online resellers, which tend to take up a lot of space in the existence. And then moving on to the pestle analysis, this did yield very similar results to the SWOT analysis. So some main things to go over would be their economic factors. So once again, talking about the recession, there's less disposable income overall, so less people are buying products like vinyl records. Some of their social aspects, again, is the trend of physical media with the younger generations and the really push for maintaining that physical media. On the next slide, we have our technological factors, which is going into their website. Again, currently they only use social media advertising, so we want to see them expand their digital marketing overall. And then moving on to Ali, talking about our target markets.
A target market is a group of individuals which a company wants to promote their product to. Specifically at Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi, as their target market is mainly collectors, they have a variety of collectors' records. They also cater to newcomers and are welcoming to any customers. Segmentation is the process of dividing a market into meaningful and relative similar identifiable segments. Moving on to more specific business segmentation. There are two demographics seen in the store, ages 15 to 18, as well as 35-year-olds and up. More people usually come in and buy, and once they've bought, they become a lifelong customer. This location is in the city, which allows them to attract customers driving through the city, whether they're from Calgary or just passing through. Now to talk about psychographic segmentation. It is based on lifestyles, motives, personalities, and geodemographics. At Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi, the customers enjoy more of an immersive experience and value preserving history through vinyl records. Customers mainly have the motive to buy records, usually to buy a collection. Now we have to talk about their positioning. Compared to other businesses in the record industry, their positioning isn't very good because they only have a social media, no online website. They do focus on an approach of building a community, which is great, but if you don't know that they're there, it's really hard to find them. Moving on to product strategy.
So with their product strategy, there's three categories that make it up: their classification category, their product life cycle, and their differentiation. So right now, their classification category could be categorized as either shopping or specialty. Shopping being that $5 to $25 range, just coming in and taking a look around, and then their specialty being those like $100 and up products that people put a lot of research in to find and go to different record stores. They would be considered in the decline in their product life cycle. Records have been out for many years after the evolving of CDs and streaming. However, they are seeing a bit of growth in recent years with the reintroduction of records as a kind of retro and new product almost. And then their differentiation is definitely in their customer service. They have a really big focus on the experience for customers, and I think that's where they have their biggest differentiation from other record stores. And then moving back to Ali for their brand management.
For Turn It Up and Record and Hi-Fi's brand management, they communicate with their customers in person, Instagram, and on Facebook. They give back to the community through having a vinyl record listening night every once in a while, and their competitive advantage is their customer service and atmosphere overall. Now we're going to talk about distribution channels. A marketing or distribution channel is a path of intermediaries that the product travels through to make it from producer to consumer. In the record industry, they use both direct and indirect marketing channels. Specifically, Turn It Up Records is part of an indirect marketing channel for records. And now we need to discuss the factors affecting distribution strategy choice. There are product factors, market factors, and producer factors. Vinyl records can get extremely expensive, especially when they are rare collector's items. The product can be very complex. The main consumers for vinyls are collectors or enthusiasts. The producers of vinyl records are very big and can sustain both direct and indirect marketing channels. Now on to pricing strategy.
So a pricing strategy defines the initial price for a product as a means of achieving the set pricing objectives. The pricing strategy that Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi uses is price penetration, which is when a company charges relatively low prices compared to their competition for the same product. The product that they have chosen, again, is vinyl records, and they charge a range of $5.95 up to $100. And compared to the rest of the market, which averages about $30 to $150 and above for their vinyl records, Trinidad Records and Hi-Fi is more on the cheaper side. I think they derive their price based on the quality. If a record is a little older or like more worn down, they'll charge lower. And I think since in the past few years, the demand for records has gone up, they use price penetration as a way to get more customers, because if they charge lower, they're obviously going to pick them over other record stores. And I think that is their objective, is to just drive more customers through the door. And now I'm going to talk about the promotion strategy, which is a planned out method to increase brand awareness and demand for the product sold. The promotion strategies that Turn It Up and Hi-Fi Records uses is interpersonal communication, which is direct face-to-face communication between two or more people. And I think they do this by having their workers ready to provide help and insight to any customer who is in need, or just to have a casual conversation with them about anything and really just build on that relationship with their customers. They also use mass communication, which is communicating a concept or a message to a large audience, and direct and digital communication, which just really focuses on social media channels. And I think they integrate those by just constantly communicating through their content on their social media. They have a great social media presence. Anytime they have a promotion or a sale going on, they make sure they post multiple times about it, and they post a lot of promotional content. And yeah, overall, I think they have a great social media presence. And now I'm going to hand it off to Lindsay for our recommendation.
The course of this presentation took a deep dive into their 4 P's of marketing in relation to Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi. They have strong foundations in their product strategy, their pricing, as well as their place. However, they do lack where they have promotion. Due to this absence of promotion, the company lacks the ability to increase sales and reminding customers of the benefits that shopping at Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi has. Therefore, our recommendation is based on building a website. Research highlights that websites offer many opportunities for companies and users because of the speed in which it can convey information. We are recommending that to better meet customer needs, the company should manufacture a website to better promote the company's products and values. Why this is needed for the company is the sales of used vinyls has increased within recent years, and businesses like Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi are seeing an influx in demand. Building a website would allow for the company to catalog their inventory so potential customers can see if the product they seek is offered in store, and a website is often the first place a prospective customer can learn about your company. By creating a website, Turn It Up Records can expect to increase the effectiveness of e-commerce, which means that customers can make purchases through the website. Research points out that 20% of people believe a website assists with building customer relations, so it is vital for the success of the company to implement our recommendation, as it allows for marketing to occur in a way that social media is unable to. By implementing this recommendation, Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi can expect to see an increase in the sale of used vinyls, because the website will allow for the company to showcase the product being offered without a person having to come into the store. The steps that should be taken to implement this record would be to work as quickly as possible. Research lays out a basic website template which would best fit Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi, as they are a smaller business that would only require highlighting the story of the company, contact information, hours, and the products being offered. As the company is reviewed highly, they should pull focus into those high reviews, specifically about their used record collections, which draw attention for a specific product. There are several online websites that assist with the process of building a website, and Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi needs to investigate which provider best suits the needs of them. This information within this presentation is an in-depth analysis of Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi. We've covered a SWOT, a pestle, outlining their strengths and shortcomings, as well as external factors that affect the business in both positive and negative ways. We have gone through in depth of the 4 sections of marketing. However, they have their weakness in promotion. That is why we have provided a recommendation within this presentation, and it is designed to assist Turn It Up Records and Hi-Fi with the sale of used records through creating a website. If they address these issues presented, the company can expect to see overall improvements in marketing strategies, increasing the success of the company. Thank you for your time today.